Last time I talked about Tesla, I said this. The biggest issue Tesla currently has is its inconsistency in its service centers. The reason why I held off on making this video at the actual 6-month mark of when I got my car, which would have been the end of April, is because I had such a terrible service center experience that this entire video would have just been a rant about how the car is amazing, but it is not worth it if I have to constantly deal with these service people. In this video, I'm ready to talk about what happened. Hey guys, Dani here, and welcome to my little corner of the internet. For those of you who don't know me, I have been the owner of a Standard Range Plus Tesla Model 3 for almost a year now. And the overall experience of owning this vehicle has been amazing. However, there is a dark cloud that hangs over the ownership experience of a Tesla. And that dark cloud is service. And that's what we're here to talk about today. If you are unfamiliar, there are two ways that you can get your Tesla serviced. The first way is through mobile service. Basically what this is Tesla mobile rangers will come to your home, your work, wherever is convenient for you, and take care of small to medium issues. This could be anything from your door handles, realignment, anything along those lines, even changing a filter. That way you don't have to book an appointment and go to an actual Tesla service center. They will also do preliminary diagnostics on your car that can be sent back to the service center to make your appointment go more smoothly. The second way you can get your car serviced is by going to an actual Tesla service center. This is basically the same thing as bringing your car to any normal gas-powered dealership. The only difference is the fact that Tesla sells most of their cars online, so they don't have their dealerships necessarily connected to their service centers. So they have a lot fewer quote-unquote dealerships, and they have a lot more service centers. The main issue here is that you can get a wildly different experience from service center to service center. There are some service centers who will go above and beyond, make sure that the customer is happy, make sure that everything is taken care of to ensure that the entire ownership experience is a wonderful experience. On the other hand, you have service centers that do less than the bare minimum and make the entire ownership experience very stressful. The service centers who do less than the bare minimum kind of ruin the ownership experience. And as we know, when people have either really positive experiences or really negative experiences, that's when they're more likely to say something. So when you go on YouTube and you look up Tesla videos, you are going to get a barrage of people who have had terrible experiences with service. This is a major issue. I have had a total of 7 appointments in the last almost year of owning my vehicle. 2 of them were mobile service and the rest were at actual service centers. In this particular instance, there were 2 things that I needed Tesla to look at. The first one was my Bluetooth. My Bluetooth kept cutting in and out all of the time. It was highly annoying. It made listening to music, podcasts, and phone calls basically impossible. I don't pay for premium connectivity, so all of my music and podcasts come through my iPod into the car through Bluetooth. And then for phone calls, it would just cut in and out, so it would go from being on the speakers in the car to back to my phone while I'm driving, which makes phone calls practically impossible. So I wanted them to look at that. The second thing that I wanted them to look at was basically to do a once over of my car, specifically the undercarriage of my car, and to take photo and video for the police. What had happened was I had parked somewhere and the police parking people didn't see my disability parking pass, so I was allowed to park there with the disability parking pass, but they didn't see it and they started to tow my car before I came outside, and it was just a whole thing. So because they don't know how to tow a Tesla properly, I wanted to make sure that there was no damage, and I'd already spoken to the police about this, and they wanted a report from Tesla as well as photos and videos just to make sure that everything was fine, or else they would have to pay for any damage that they did to my vehicle. This was all taking place in late March, early April, just as the pandemic was hitting in full force here in Canada. So the day before my appointment, I thoroughly cleaned my vehicle. I even took out the floor mats that I had, completely cleaned it, and let them dry overnight. I did this because, like I said, the pandemic had just started, and I wanted to make sure that I could get rid of as much of the germs, virus, anything that could be on any of the surfaces as possible, because I wanted to keep everybody in this situation safe. So the morning of my appointment, I put the mats back in. They were perfectly clean. And I drove to my appointment. I went to the nearest service center, which is about 5 to 10 minute drive away from my house. All of the COVID safety measures and social distancing guidelines and stuff and safety measures were in place during this visit. So I didn't actually see any of the technicians face to face. You had to drive up and you called this number, they told you to park your car, they told me where the loaner was, etc., etc. Before I left my car, I again reiterated the 2 issues. I mentioned that, I need the pictures and the video for the police, and that I wanted to double check that they would be cleaning the car before I got the car back. Because again, I wanted to be safe. I didn't want, people touching up my car, and then I don't know where those people have been, and then me getting back into my car, especially because I am immunocompromised. So I double checked this. When I got into the loaner was dirty, which is a issue in and of itself, but I wasn't going to make a big deal about it at the time. Because I wasn't really going to be driving this car up and down. I literally just drove it home and then drove it back to the service center when I needed to bring it back. Fast forward to around 4:30 p.m. that same day, they called me and said, my car was ready. And I was like, great, can you give me some details about, what's going on? And they told me that they found 0 issues with my car. There was no damage from the police, and they couldn't figure out the Bluetooth issue. There's nothing wrong with my car. And that's where I started getting a little bit concerned, because I'm like, I've documented these issues a lot. It happens on a daily basis. So how is it that all of a sudden you're having 0 issues with the Bluetooth? So I asked for whoever actually worked on my car to give me a call back. And at about 4:45, that person did call me back. They basically reiterated that they found nothing with my car, etc., etc. And they're like, oh, by the way, you might want to pick up your car ASAP, because it's Friday. We're going to leave your car unlocked and left parked outside. And if anything happens to it, that's not our problem. So come pick up your car. This was after I expressed that, can somebody take another look at my car, because I know that there's a Bluetooth issue. The Bluetooth issue is very annoying and it needs to be fixed. But this was a Friday. They were going home for the weekend, I guess, so nobody would be able to look at my car. And that was a sassy response that I got about coming to pick up my car, because basically they were just going to leave it unlocked, and if someone damaged my car or stole my car, that was not their problem. And they close at 5. Luckily, like I said, I live 5 to 10 minutes away. I was able to get there just before they closed. I was able to locate my car. As they said, my car was unlocked. I was able to open the door. And when I opened the door, I realized that my car was filthy. Absolutely filthy. The mats that I had just cleaned were covered with dirt and footprints. There were grease stains all over my white interior, and I was not impressed. Because like I said, beginning of the pandemic, so everyone's should be doing their best to keep everything clean. And on top of that, this is my car. If you guys at the service center, I understand that you're working on multiple cars, you're working with a whole array of things, the very least you can do is clean the car if you leave grease stains. Or if you notice that the floor mats were clean and pristine, hose them down, especially in a pandemic. So I called the number on the door once again, and I tried to speak to somebody about this, and they were just completely rude. And ironically, when I had gotten into my car, I was going to just call them from in my car, And guess what didn't work? The Bluetooth. I couldn't get the Bluetooth to connect to my phone. Again, in the Tesla parking lot. So clearly there was an issue that they just didn't bother to look at or didn't bother to fix. So when I called the number, the guy on the other line was very rude. And I was getting very frustrated, and I was like, look, not only is my car a mess, which is not okay, but you didn't fix what I asked you to fix. And also, where are my pictures and videos? He's like, oh, we didn't take any, but your car's fine. So what am I here for? Like, literally, what am I here for? So I said, well, you guys didn't do anything that I asked you to do. You didn't take the pictures or videos, which I need. You didn't fix the Bluetooth issue. So I'm just going to take my car for now, and I will speak to a manager on Monday and try and get this resolved. And the guy's like, oh, but you owe us money. And I said, for what? You didn't do anything. So what do I possibly owe you money for? And he said further labor and time, which normally I understand. Normally I would have zero problems paying for. But if you didn't actually do anything, I'm not going to pay you for your nothingness. And I expressed that to him. He's like, well, we're not going to make your car drivable until you pay us. Which is an even bigger issue. I do not like the fact that Tesla can make my car not drivable and essentially blackmail me into paying them after they didn't even do their job or what I asked them to do. Or at all. Tesla should not have the ability to make my car undrivable on a whim. That is ridiculous. So after they extorted me for my money, I paid them, which I immediately called my bank afterwards and disputed the charges, and long story short on that one, I got my money back, but not the point here. They extorted me for money, I paid them, they allowed my car to be drivable again, and I asked to speak for a manager to call me. And as I was driving home, the manager calls me. This was a very difficult conversation. You want to know why? Because my Bluetooth wasn't working, so it kept cutting in and out because there's totally just not an issue. Right? Right. I'm not going to go into a whole big spiel about this whole conversation. I'm just going to give you the highlight of this conversation because he was screaming at me and I was getting very frustrated. So I asked him to speak to his superior. And he said, there is nobody above me. And yes, I was being snarky. I will admit that. But still, this is what I responded to him. I said, oh, I wasn't aware I was speaking to Elon Musk. And he's like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, well, if you're not Elon Musk, then there is somebody above you in this company that I would like to speak to. And he just laughed at me and hung up the phone. I had to contact a completely different service center far away from my house. And that service center, this was the service center in Mississauga, they were absolutely wonderful. They took my car in, they found the Bluetooth issue, replaced the Bluetooth module, fixed the issue. They took the pictures and videos that I needed for the police, and they completely detailed my car, all for free. And not the $200 that I had to pay the other service center, Tesla Lawrence / Railside, they like moved or whatever, to do absolutely nothing. So why is this such a big issue? There are kind of two reasons why this is a big deal. One, customer service should be at the forefront of Tesla. I can buy the best car in the world, but I'm not going to want to buy it if all I get is headaches over service. That's not fun. The moment I need to do anything with my car, it's an issue, I wouldn't buy another car. And you want to keep your customers. You want to have lifelong customers. On top of that, Tesla has a whole separate issue of not, how do I explain this? Their quality control isn't the greatest. So generally when you get delivery of your car, there are issues and misalignments and whatever. So that's already an issue. And if I have to bring it to the service center to get them to fix these things, and this is how they behave, you're already tarnishing my experience with the vehicle. And that is also something that happened to me. When I took delivery of my car, my trunk was misaligned. I noted it in the delivery notes, and this same service center was so annoying to even try to, they refused to fix it. They absolutely refused to fix it. The only reason why it got fixed is because of mobile service. I finally was able to have like a couple different things that need to be fixed, and all those things to be fixed by mobile service. So the mobile service guy was able to fix it. So I don't understand why Tesla Railside could not fix it. They're like, it's in spec. I'm like, it's clearly misaligned. Like, just fix it, please. Thank you. The second reason why this is such a major issue is that Tesla does not advertise. So mostly people hear about this car through word of mouth or through videos like this. And if customers are consistently making videos like this, complaining about service and complaining about their ownership experience, people who are looking to buy into this brand are going to be way more hesitant and way more reluctant to buy into this brand because of all of these negative videos. So it is in Tesla's best interest to make sure that their customers are having a wonderful experience. But they're not. And my biggest issue with this whole thing is that all of our cars come with warranty. They come with a certain amount of kilometers under your warranty. Like I've said in this video, there is a Tesla service center a 5-minute drive from my house. So that only puts a couple of kilometers on my car. But that service center is completely incompetent apparently and can't do anything. I'm in the Tesla Facebook groups and all of that stuff, and there have just been so many complaints about this one particular service center. So if I need to get anything done with my car, I have to drive all the way to Mississauga to do it, which puts what on my car? Kilometers, which makes my warranty run out faster. That is why I feel like Tesla is not currently incentivized to fix this issue. And it's not okay. It's very much not okay. And something needs to be done about it. Like I said, you can make the best car in the world. And being honest, I really love my car. This is my dream car. I have made tons of videos about this car on my channel. And I want people to buy this car. But I don't want people to have the same horrible experiences that I have had with Tesla service. Right now, there is an issue with my car. The issue is that the left-hand turn signal doesn't work sometimes. Like half the time it just won't go off, which is dangerous because I'm pulling the lever to tell people that I'm turning and signaling, but they aren't seeing anything, and then I get a notification on my screen that there's a fault with it and to contact service. And the way you contact service is through the app or via text, but it goes to your nearest service center, which is that same service center who does nothing. And they haven't even responded to me in weeks about this issue, which is a very serious safety issue. This is why I'm making this video. Tesla needs to do something about their inconsistent service. They need to streamline it. I should have the same experience no matter what Tesla service center that I go to. I would love to hear your thoughts about this situation. If you have had positive experiences with Tesla service, I would love to hear about that. Put those in the comment section down below because I would love for people to know where to go. And if you've had a negative or terrible experience with Tesla service, also put those in the comment section because people should know where to avoid. If you liked this video or found it helpful, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing. I will see you guys again next time. Bye.